Welcome to the Instagram stories for Wednesday, May 7th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today on the show, we'll have an update on TikTok from President Trump. Spoiler alert, he's probably going to extend the deadline again. Who was surprised? Nobody. We'll also talk about a new feature that Instagram is slowly starting to roll out called Lockable Reels. I've talked about this in the past. We're starting to see it in the wild. I'll explain more and give a little bit of strategy on how to use it. Additionally, we'll have an update from the YouTube team, and we'll hear some insights from a longer YouTube Creator Insider interview that I think you're going to really benefit from, especially when it comes to making short form video and general principles and rules to think about. All of that and more on today's episode, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Welcome back. Let's start with the biggest news of the day, which has to do with TikTok and whether or not it's going to get banned in the United States. President Trump had an interview with NBC's Meet the Press, which aired on Sunday, where he said he'd give TikTok relief again if a deal isn't struck during the already extended timeframe. President Trump said, quote, "Perhaps I shouldn't say this, but I have a little warm spot in my heart for TikTok," end quote. President Trump said he'd like to see a deal be made, but he'd be willing to give the Chinese-owned app a reprieve, despite not having made a deal with the platform's owner, ByteDance. President Trump also said in the interview that TikTok, quote, "will be protected," end quote. As a reminder, the Supreme Court upheld the ban on the TikTok app, but President Trump put in an extension of the deadline, allowing for the app to continue to be used until this is all sorted out. I will, of course, keep you posted, although frankly, I am tired of talking about this topic. Okay, let's move on to some meta news. The company has announced that it will host its annual Conversations conference in the United States for the first time, and Miami is going to be the host city. Meta's fourth annual Conversations event will be held on July 1st, and they will outline the latest updates in messaging, including business messaging opportunities. The quote from Meta, "Whether you're looking to fuel performance through deeper customer relationships and more valuable interactions, or optimize your customer communication strategy and streamline operations, this event is designed to help you achieve your goals," end quote. I will list a link for how to register in the show notes so that you can get signed up. Continuing with the meta news, let's move on to Instagram. Instagram has now launched its first official use of lockable reels. If you're not familiar, the concept behind a lockable reel is that you can share a reel to your followers and the broader Instagram community at large, but the reel can only be viewed if you type in a secret code. If you follow the music artist The Weeknd, you can go to his profile on Instagram and look at the latest reel that he's posted. It's a clip from his film Hurry Up Tomorrow, but it's hidden behind a lock code. You have to enter in the clean title for track 3, and then you can view the reel. I will link to this post directly in the show notes so you can check it out. And here's a little bit from the Instagram team explaining how this works. Quote, "The new Hidden Reels feature lets you unlock exclusive content with a password. Instagram is testing this feature as a way to let creators build excitement and buzz around exclusive content and to help people connect over shared interests and entertaining content in a new, if you know, way," end quote. As a strategy, I think this is a really interesting way to give your super fans or most loyal customers a chance to get some exclusive insider content. And maybe in that reel, you share a discount code or a pre-sale code or something else that they can take action on and to support your music or your business or whatever it is that you have. I think it's a really interesting way to experiment with what you can offer to super fans and then how you can springboard off of that. If someone is willing to figure out what a code is and watch a video and then take action on it, this is the kind of either loyal fan or super customer that you want to keep happy and keep engaged because they really like what you're doing and they're willing to put effort into it. I will link to all of this in the show notes. And if you want to see the clip on The Weeknd's profile, the code to view the reel will also be in the show notes. Okay, now let's move on to a quick update from the YouTube team who are talking about a feature in Studio Editor that's going to be removed. I think it's important to know about. Here's the clip.
What's up, Insiders? I'm Lauren, a program manager working on our product team here at YouTube and the producer of Creator Insider. So let's get into it. The Revert to Original feature in the YouTube Studio Editor will be deprecated in the coming months. This means you'll no longer be able to revert changes made using blur, trim, audio replace, or song erase. To secure original copies of your videos, you can download them before editing or use Google Takeout to download your previously uploaded videos.
Okay, if you edit inside the YouTube Studio editor, you're going to want to know about that, so it's important. The rest of the clip has to do with the mid-roll ad changes. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I think we've covered that enough on this show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Renee Ritchie from the YouTube Creator Insider team interviews someone from the YouTube team and a content creator about shorts and gives some strategies that I think are important to know. Stick around. Welcome back. I recently came across a really good interview on the YouTube @Creator Insider account and wanted to play some of the clips on the show. Renee Ritchie from the YouTube Insider team interviews Todd Sherman, who is YouTube's head of shorts, and they also have on Jenny Hoyos, who is a creator. I think I've seen some of her videos in the past before, but she explains some of the efforts that she puts into making videos and why she does things the way she does. And I think it's really good to get these insights because you can apply it to whatever video content you're creating, especially if it's short form. Here's the clip.
Tell us a little bit about shorts. Like, I think everybody has a rough idea what they are, but how do you define a short on YouTube?
You know, shorts are a little different than long form because on long form, right now you see a preview for that video and then you tap to go watch it. And in shorts, obviously, they're swiping in the feed. And so they get to discover videos. And I think, creators are often asking me what makes a great short?
Yeah.
And, I think a lot about your videos and hooking people early. Like, how much time do you spend on that hook?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the hook is the most important thing. Like, if people aren't hooked, then they're not going to even see the rest of the video. So the hook is everything. If actually coming up with the hook doesn't take very long because if it's a good hook, it's almost like it is the idea. The hook is my idea. So the hook comes before the idea. Sometimes I'll have an idea, but if the hook isn't good, I don't make the video. So it's kind of tough to gauge how long it takes to come up with the hook. But yeah, once we have a good hook, we know we should make the video, basically.
Yeah. And how long do you think you have to really catch somebody based on your experience?
Oh my goodness. It's literally the first frame. Like I really do think you have 1 second to hook someone, especially on shorts.
And so are you giving them an idea or are you setting an expectation? What makes a good hook?
Okay, yeah. I have a 3-step formula that I always do in my head when I come up with hooks. And the first thing is shock. I want some sort of shock factor. Ideally, it's a visual shock factor. And then I follow that by establishing expectations of what the content's going to be about. So, usually you give a little description of what you're going to do in the video. And then the third thing is giving an expectation of what's to happen at the end. We need to know what we are going to get by the end of this video and how we are going to progress to that. Because it doesn't matter if someone gets hooked and they're like, oh, this is a cool video. Okay, I saw the cool thing that happened in the hook and I'm going to leave. No, they need to be hooked and stayed.
And then you got to deliver.
I'm going to pause it there for a quick second. That reminder about the hook and how important it is to grab people's attention within the first half a second to a second is so important. There's that tendency to turn on the camera and then say, hey, everybody, today I wanted to talk about. Don't do that. Just get right into it because people have short attention spans. If you're watching short form content, you expect to get some kind of thing that makes you want to watch the video right away. I think we're all conditioned to that, and it's something that we can all improve on, myself included. In the next clip, Jenny Hoyos explains her thought process that goes into making shorts, and interestingly, it's not what you might think. You might think it's really important to tell an entire story in a short, but Jenny says that is not the case.
Is that how you sort of think about it? Like, you want to tell a complete story in the time that you have?
Yeah, I definitely want to tell a complete story, but also we don't want to get as much information in as possible in a short amount of time. Like, there are a few creators who think I'm going to be viral on shorts if I give as much information as possible in these 60 seconds, because people want to learn as much as possible. Then it's then you're just going to dilute your message. So I think it's all about just those quick moments, just keeping people entertained. And it's oh, that's a funny joke. And on to the next video.
That's what you focus on is the focus?
Yeah, I say it's weird. I try not to think of a whole story, rather bits. And when I'm making shorts, but within those bits, there's its own story. That's what I think about.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there for a quick second. In the last clip that I'm going to play, Jenny explains exactly how long it takes for her to make content. Whatever you think it takes her in the amount of time, you are wrong. It takes way longer. Here's the clip.
You were telling us before, like what it takes for you to make a short
Oh, yeah, it's about an hour per second.
per second. So 59.9 seconds is
Exactly.
that's a lot of hours.
Exactly. But if it's only 15 seconds, maybe only 15 hours.
Yeah. That's still an amazing amount of work. Like we're used to traditional entertainment thinking about like a lot of movies in terms of months to make hours, but like hours to make seconds is amazing as well.
Yeah, it's scary when you think about it like that.
Okay, I just wanted you to hear that part about how many hours it takes her to make these videos. You might get frustrated if you work on a video for a couple of hours and it doesn't perform that well. Imagine if you put in the amount of time that she's putting into it and then it still doesn't perform well, how frustrated you'd be. This is just part of the process. But I wanted to highlight how much effort goes into making high quality shorts, reels, TikToks, because I think it's a good reminder. That is going to do it for today's episode. If you want to hear the Wednesday Waffle, where I talk about another topic that is unrelated to social media, you can stick around after the break. As always, thank you so much for listening.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks of Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently until Zuck returns my DMs and starts to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacies. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.
Oh, hey, thanks for being willing to listen to me talk about a different topic other than social media news. Recently, I was on Threads and I saw someone posted that they were looking for a host for their podcast to do some interviews. I sent a message to the person and I said I was interested, and I just did the first interview earlier this week. And let me tell you something, I had a blast. Although I enjoy talking about social media news and I enjoy having my own podcast, it was really nice to guest host someone else's show and interview a guest who I wouldn't normally talk to about a subject that I wouldn't normally discuss. And it was just like a little mini podcasting vacation, if that makes any sense. I really enjoyed doing it. I was actually even smiling ear to ear when I finished the interview, which is weird because, normally my podcast feels like a hobby that is mixed with work, but this just felt like a complete relaxation day. Like when your boss is away and you're just like, well, I guess today is going to be a bit slower than normal. That's kind of what it felt like. Okay. Thank you for listening to me talk about another topic other than social media news for a couple of minutes. And as always, thank you so much for listening to the podcast.